I've been here now for about 12 hours, and it still feels kind of strange, the whole idea of it, an American going traveling in Vietnam. Vietnam only opened up to travelers a few years ago. It's a socialist republic, population 70 million. The average income is less than $5 a week. The unit of currency is the dong. The staple diet, fish and rice. Vietnam stretches 1,000 miles along the east coast of the Indochinese Peninsula. From Ho Chi Minh City, I'll venture to the coast, then head north towards Hanoi. My journey will end in the remote highlands near the Chinese border. It's daybreak in a place that used to be called Saigon. But with the coming of communist rule in 1975, the name was changed to Ho Chi Minh City. The young and ambitious are attracted to Vietnam's economic capital. 4 million people get to work every day on two wheels. Mopeds and bicycles outnumber cars 100 to 1. But for the faint of heart, there is a safer, more relaxing way to experience the city.
Excuse me. Hi. I want to go to Cho Lan. I want to go there and I want to come back. How much is it?
10,000.
10,000. 10.
Yes.
10,000. What? $1.
What?
$1.
Yeah, $1.
Yeah. Okay.
For about a half hour, the cyclo costs $1 or 10,000 dong. But agree to a price before you ride, or you could pay 4 times that amount. Cho Lan is the city's Chinese quarter, where visitors will find its most vibrant daily market. Anywhere in Cho Lan, a rhythmic clicking sound is live advertisement for breakfast. If you catch the eye of one of these boys, he'll bring you pho, the Vietnamese breakfast. It's a bowl of noodle soup with greens and either pork, chicken, or beef. A bit too hearty for me at 7 in the morning, but there wasn't much to choose from, and you couldn't beat the price, 20 cents. Over the centuries, Vietnam has been occupied by the Chinese, the French, the Americans, the Russians, and the Khmer. All of these influences are felt today. And as Vietnam reopens its borders, more changes are taking effect. Economic reforms, or renovation known as Doi Moi, have prompted the birth of a free market, and new businesses are springing up almost overnight. It's the eve of Tet, a national holiday that marks the end of the lunar calendar. It's the biggest festival of the year, and many Vietnamese families will spend an entire year's savings on food, flowers, and firecrackers. Pow is the Vietnamese word for firecracker.
I just want one. One packet. Yeah, there you go. Do you have change? Oh, that's right. What? This is my change. This is my change. Oh, okay. This is it. Come on. Come on. Come on.
The firecrackers are meant to frighten away bad spirits before the start of the new year.
Call that a firework?
But this giant fireworks display isn't the only way to celebrate Tet. Across town, I would find an equally exciting, yet different kind of ceremony. At one of the Buddhist pagodas in the city, I found hundreds of people gathering for prayer. Most Vietnamese are Mahayana Buddhists, the same form of Buddhism found in China. Tet is a good time to see the Buddhist and Confucius rituals, which are so much a part of the Vietnamese culture. Tet is also a time to forgive anyone who has done you harm, to cancel debts, and to put last year's problems behind you. No American can visit Vietnam without confronting the war issue. Just 22 miles northwest of Ho Chi Minh City is Cu Chi, where some chilling reminders remain. This sidecar belonged to one of North Vietnam's communist generals, one of the few things which survived the war intact. Cu Chi, once the scene of violent warfare, can now be visited for just $3.
1965.
The Americans came here in 1965?
When every day, no boot bomb and shell, no destroy area.
Those were the B-52s, yeah?
Cu Chi is most famous for its tunnels, a 100-mile network of underground rooms and passages where the Viet Cong both hid and lived, sometimes right underneath the American encampments. A soldier in the Vietnamese army showed me part of the network.
That's the entrance to the tunnel.
Where? Oh.
No, before this entrance was smaller than now. Only
Smaller than this?
yeah, only half the size. No gorilla could go down 3 floors and go everywhere. And around here, no gorilla put many booby traps.
Many booby traps?
Yeah, and hand grenades.
Ah. I see. Okay. Do you want? I'll follow you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
The tunnels make up a subterranean village. Living areas, storage facilities, weapons factories, and kitchens were built one on top of the other.
See, this room, meeting room.
How many?
This could contain about 50 people.
50.
You can see, this is the booby trap.
Oh, look at those. Are those spikes?
Yeah, bamboo.
Bamboo. Should I go through here?
Yeah. One way street.
After 5 minutes underground, I was already feeling very claustrophobic. Then I found out that these tunnels had been enlarged 4 times to accommodate tourists like myself. In a clearing nearby, every weapon fired in the Vietnam War can now be tried out by tourists. I chose what looked like the smallest, which turned out to be an AK-47 assault rifle.
Okay.
You can shoot a tiger.
Shoot the tiger.
Yeah.
I'll do my best. Okay, where do I look? Where do I look?
You see.
Okay. And then where do I press? Hit.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my God.
An hour away from Cu Chi is the center of one of Vietnam's new religions. It's based in the province of Tây Ninh, and it's known as Cao Dai. Built in the 1920s, the Cao Dai temple is now the center of a following 2.5 million strong. The Cao Dai have combined the beliefs of Buddhism with Confucianism, Taoism, Christianity, and Islam. But they look to just one god, Cao Dai, represented by a huge eye.
Can you tell me about the eye?
The eye symbolizes God.
The god.
Yeah.
If the eye looks in, it's caution.
Yeah.
And when the eye looks out,
Science.
science.
Yeah. And in the middle, the eye see everything.
The eye sees everything.
In Cao Dai, there are no different nations, no different people, and just one law: love. The next day was my first major journey, a 12-hour bus trip to the South China Sea. From Tây Ninh, it's 300 miles northeast to Vietnam's premier seaside resort at Nha Trang. Vietnam is a network of buses that reach virtually every corner of the country. Most of them are at least 30 years old and are kept running with homemade spares. They're slow, uncomfortable, and unreliable, but incredibly cheap. Arriving at Nha Trang in the dark, I needed somewhere to stay. Travelers recommended the Cao Dai Villas on a cliff top above the harbor.
Came from Saigon on
Yeah.
the express.
Yeah.
It took 12 hours.
Yeah, you are ahead.
Yes. Is there hot water?
Yeah,
in the room?
yeah.
And air conditioning and
Yeah,
all
yeah.
those good things?
Yeah.
Cao Dai was the emperor's seaside home in the 1920s, now available to tourists from $12 a night. Only in the morning did I realize just how spectacular the location was. Vietnam's coastline runs for 2,000 miles, making it longer than the western United States. Places like Nha Trang were once closed off to tourists. This was a military base, but now, like most of the country, it's open to foreign and Vietnamese vacationers alike. Every morning starts with exercise, balancing the mind and limbering the body. I found an unusual place to get my laundry done, the Green Hat Restaurant.
Hi,
Hi.
I need to get some laundry done.
Okay, what you got inside?
I've got 3 t-shirts, white t-shirts, 3
Yes.
white t-shirts.
And this print?
Well, okay, it's pink. It was supposed to be white. Blue vest.
Down at Nha Trang Harbor, there was a boat trip, also run by the Green Hat Restaurant. The Green Hat Enterprise is Vietnam waking up to tourism, and a woman called Mama Han is the entrepreneur behind it. She started by selling peanuts on the beach. Now, for $7, you can get an all-day cruise. On the menu, squid, tofu, stir-fry noodles, and fresh fruit.
Kit number 3, cold beer. Okay.
There were a mixture of travelers on board who all had their favorite Vietnam story.
If you need something, just call me and I come in middle place. Okay, take it easy.
I love the food. The thing that really bugs me is the coffee, because they put this really thick, horrible condensed milk in the bottom and it tastes like absolute...
Well, it was just these frogs that we saw in the marketplace where the women were selling them in Bente Market in Saigon, where they've got the live frogs lying there and they just pick them up and then they take a few snips of the scissors and then just skin them inside out and then put them out on a tray. They're still crawling around, waiting for people to buy them. It was just...
We saw somebody on a motorbike with about 10 chickens, live chickens.
Oh yeah, they do that all the time.
Yeah.
You go down the street and there's like a cyclo or even a bus full of children. And they'll all jump out the window and go, hello, 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 like 60 little kids at the same time.
And the thing I really love is they all smile, and it's like they've suffered so much, but they all smile at everyone, and it's great.
See many things on the sea.
Okay.
Island after island, afternoon ambled lazily into evening. I was tempted to quit traveling there and then and set up a lonely beach bar on the South China Sea, but I'd already bought a train ticket. The rail network is fairly simple. From south to north, it's one stretch of track 1,000 miles long, connecting Ho Chi Minh City to Haiphong, just north of Hanoi. I'm heading north from Nha Trang into central Vietnam on the Reunification Express. After North and South Vietnam united in 1975, one of the government's first programs was to replace the rail system that had been destroyed during the war. Even so, the Reunification Express left 2.5 hours late. The service is slower today than it was 50 years ago when the French finished building it. In this second-class section, I was the only foreigner. But, as in other Buddhist countries, women traveling alone in Vietnam are simply not hassled.
Do I like your country? Very much.
Hardly anyone speaks English, but if you're lucky, you may meet someone who speaks French.
Moi, je suis dessinateur.
Ah, dessinateur.
Musicien.
Musician.
Écrivain.
Ah, un artiste.
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 Et aussi, je fais la marionnette.
Les marionnettes, the puppets. Ah, c'est joli ça.
I had all the vaccinations from tetanus to typhoid. Still, I approached the onboard toilets with trepidation. average speed of the Reunification Express is 30 miles per hour, so I figured it would take about 16 hours to get to my destination, a peninsula in the middle of the country called Lang Co, just south of Hue. Breakfast was included in the price of a ticket. Plastic-colored bowls filled with noodles, pork, egg, and greens. When hot water was added, the whole carriage steamed up like a soup kitchen. Not everyone liked the same food, but we knew each other well enough by then to trade. I tried to capture on an old film camera the experience of the Reunification Express. Would it be too obvious to say there was a spirit of unavoidable togetherness? For all its challenges and delays, this train trip was the high point of my trip so far. The peninsula at Lang Co is one of the most tranquil spots in Vietnam, with miles of unspoiled beaches. The way of life here is gradually becoming less Western as I move toward what used to be the communist-controlled north. At Lang Co, this meant there was only one guest house. The facilities can be best described as basic. Vietnam's hotel industry is still catching up with what tourists want. The government only authorized the use of small private hotels for foreigners a couple of years ago. To be fair, the owner of this hotel had explained quite clearly that at 7 o'clock they switch off the main generator and water pump. If you do decide to come to Lang Co, I'd suggest you take a day trip.
How long is it to the States, the United States? How many days? 10 days. Thank you.
Self-adhesive stamps haven't found their way to Vietnam, but complimentary glue is provided. Here in Lang Co, local children are back at school following the New Year holiday. All Vietnamese children receive a primary education, and the literacy rate is about 80%. But it's agriculture that provides a living for most of Vietnam's workforce. These boys are on their way to farming classes. The Imperial City of Hue is just a few hours north by train from Lang Co. Vietnam had emperors right up until the Second World War, and from the beginning of the last century, the Imperial City of Hue was where they lived. I took a bicycle taxi to see some of the sights the city is famous for. The 12 emperors of the Nguyen dynasty built temples, palaces, and especially tombs all over Hue and its surrounding countryside. But Hue is probably most famous for being bombed to near extinction during the Tet Offensive of 1968. Much of what was left has fallen into a state of neglect. Restoring monuments is not one of the priorities of the Vietnamese government. The citadel still draws tourists and is the perfect spot for hawkers to tout their war memorabilia.
This is from America?
Yeah, right?
The Zippo lighters are supposed to have belonged to U.S. soldiers.
How old?
I had it on good authority. I'd be offered fakes.
From the war.
No, from the American, very old.
Very old.
Yeah, the hill of Vietnam.
From Vietnam. Oh, wow, these are really old. Let's see.
Oh, number one.
Oh, it's really...
One person, $1.
$1.
Yeah, one person.
$1, one light.
No, $10 for one.
$10.
Yeah. Give me $1, $1.
I'm sure to go to heaven because I've spent my time in hell.
Then, outside the Imperial City, I ran into two exceptional Frenchmen. They were attempting to pedal a cyclo almost the entire length of Vietnam. With 500 miles still to go, I asked them about their crazy idea.
We decided to ride the cyclo while we were in Saigon in front of a shop to buy a bicycle. And there were a couple of cyclomen in front of it, and both of us tried one of these cyclo, and we fall in love with it.
When Vietnamese people see us, I think at first they don't believe it. You know, they're looking at us with big eyes, but after they just start laughing and laughing and laughing.
We usually get up quite early.
Wake up around 6, have a big breakfast, good breakfast, strong coffee, and then we take the road.
50, 60, 70 kilometers a day, but we don't ride every day.
When we sit in the front, it's almost impossible to write or to read. There's too much vibration because of the road. And we pass the time just looking around or talking each other.
Are you still good friends?
Yeah, very good friends. We have two. We have known one another for 15 years, and we did a few crazy things before together.
We had many good adventures together, and we hope we will have some more, for sure.
I had read about a strange custom in the city, something men do on a regular basis to protect themselves from disease. It involves the mixing of snake blood with alcohol.
Oh my God, you're killing it? Oh. Are you expecting me to drink that? Kind of looks like tomato juice. Well, I think the idea of this is that there's some potent characteristic in the venom, or the blood, or the guts, or whatever it is that she's pulling out of this dead snake. And the idea is to drink it. And I think it'll give me more testosterone, which is just what I'm looking for. Actually, I prefer I sort of make a habit of taking vitamin C every morning, but I guess this is the Vietnamese way. She's really cleaning it out, too. Oh my God, it's splattering. It's a beautiful color green. That's the... I don't know if I really want to. Strong. Maybe someone else wants to drink it? Yes? Here, you can have it. Good.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Okay, I'll take a little sip. But if I smell it. Woo! That's strong. It's good Oh. It's like a really strong drink. It's very hot, hot. Hot.
Among travelers, Hue's Lac Tien restaurant is something of a legend. The crepes are made to an original recipe with shrimp, pork, and bean sprouts. On the side, you get starfruit and peanut sauce. The kitchen is open, the cooks are waiters, and the waiters are cooks. But the most interesting thing about Lac Tien is that the family that runs it so successfully is deaf. There are shrines to ancestors everywhere in Vietnam. Confucianism teaches a respect for one's ancestors, which explains their special place in Vietnamese society. I shared a table with a man whose father died within the past year. He wore a black silk badge pinned to his shirt as a sign of remembrance.
I'm mourning. My father died 3 months ago, so I had to...
He told me that he must wear his badge for 3 years. During this period of mourning, he isn't permitted to attend any festivals or celebrations, or even to visit his friends. He accepted this as the tradition in his country. Hue sits on the vast Perfume River. I took a day-long trip out on an old converted barge to see the way of life that the river supports. "80% of Vietnam's people live in rural areas away from the cities and towns. It remains one of the poorest nations on earth. Nearly half the children are malnourished. The average national income is only about $250 a year, and these people seem to be living on only a fraction of that. People in Vietnam are far too busy getting on with daily life to think about the past, and they always made me feel welcome. Internal air travel in Vietnam is infrequent. Sometimes it's standing room only. A one-way ticket to Hanoi from Hue, a 400-mile trip, costs about $80. The airport is 20 miles from the city, and taking a taxi into Hanoi can be quite an experience in itself. This is an old Soviet-made Lada. It has no seatbelts, no mirrors, and minimal suspension. The traffic system in Vietnam can best be described as lawless, so drivers have learned amazing skills in order to cope. It's probably a good thing that foreigners aren't allowed to drive here. They wouldn't survive. Hanoi is a city where people are more conservative, more resistant to reform, and not as distracted by tourists. By contrast, in the South, you're often greeted with a thumbs-up sign in the words, "America, #1." In Hanoi, people seemed more focused on their work than on me. Hanoi is the political capital of Vietnam. One of its main attractions, the mausoleum of Ho Chi Minh. The communist leader staged a revolt against the French in 1945 to declare Vietnam's independence. He died in 1969. There's a lot to see in Hanoi, and the best way to do it is to get on a bike and join the crowd. You'll quickly realize that at intersections, it's more dangerous to brake than to keep going. The soul of Hanoi can still be found in the ancient town center. Each street still bears the name of the trade that's carried on there. Tin Street, Fish Street, Gravestone Street, Bamboo Street, Paper Street. These artisans are quite ingenious, making some things you'd be hard-pressed to find in the West, as I discovered on Silk Street. Okay, check this out. Silk sleeping bag, very affordable. Traveler goes in here, pillow goes in here, and it all fits inside this little teeny bag, which will fit into any rucksack. Thank you. And doubles in the skirt. Hanoi is the place to organize your onward trip to sites on Vietnam's north coast and northern highlands. It's a modest city with little crime. This is one of two darling cafes, both on the same street and in fierce competition for travelers' business. Is this the first Darling Cafe?
Yeah.
This is the original.
The original, yeah.
The original Darling Cafe.
I'm sure. Yeah.
You're sure?
Yeah.
Great. This is the old Darling Cafe.
Yes.
This was the first one.
Yes.
And so I'm in the original Darling Cafe, and
New.
that's new. The one down the street is new.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh, I'm happy to know that. Thank you. At an outdoor cafe, I found Hanoi's answer to draft beer. It's cheaper than imported beers, but more watery and definitely flat. But at only 15 cents a pint, I was willing to ignore all that.
Thank you. Cheers.
From Hanoi, it takes 6 hours by bus to travel the 100 miles to Vietnam's most spectacular landscape. Ha Long Bay is on the Gulf of Tonkin. This surreal landscape is dotted with over 3,000 limestone islands. Quite unexpectedly, I met a woman whose family lived on an old fishing boat. The boat was going out to sea, and they took me along to visit a limestone cave 3 miles from shore, which was inhabited by a friend of theirs.
Come on. Come on. is amazing.
Toothbrush and toothpaste. Huang made a business decision to come here. 2 years ago, when competition between fishing boats in Halong Bay became too great, he decided to start a fish farm inside one of the limestone rocks. In the dark, I lost track of how far we'd gone, but this was Huang's normal journey to work. There are caves like this all over Halong Bay. For centuries, they've been well known to local fishermen who use them as storm shelters. Inside the island, an isolated lagoon the size of a football field was surrounded on all sides by tall cliffs. It was perfect for a fish farm. Three-quarters of Vietnam is mountainous, and much of it remains unexplored to this day. There's one train a week to the remote northern Highlands, and it's a long, slow haul. 10 hours to travel 120 miles from Hanoi northwest to Lao Cai near the Chinese border. Border disputes with the Chinese meant that until 1992, these border areas were closed to tourists, making any trans-Asian journey impossible. Just south of the border, a ferry will take you across the Great Red River. From there, you continue by road to Lao Cai. The more serious travelers speak with excitement about journeying to the northern highlands and the hill tribes that live there. These highland areas are among the most linguistically and culturally diverse in the world. Over 50 ethnic minorities, each with its own unique costume, language, and beliefs, live here. One such group is the Hmong, a tribe numbering 700,000, but scattered across the region in small, self-sufficient hillside settlements. Word of a visitor soon got round, and the village life I'd really come to see came to a standstill. I had the impression that strangers as strange as me were not to be missed.
Can you ask him when was the last time he saw a Westerner in his village?
Lần cuối cùng mà ông nhìn thấy người nước ngoài.
Each tribe has its own language, so each time I asked a question, it had to go through 2 separate translators before the chief could understand it and reply.
Cách đây đã 10 năm.
He said that 10 years ago he
10
saw
years ago.
a foreigner.
Was the last time you saw a Westerner?
In the remote hills of Lao Cai, so far and so different from the place I call home, I found people who had never heard of America, never mind the war. To travel any further north would take me into China, but that would be another journey.
country made famous by war, glamorized by a stream of Hollywood combat movies. But since 1989, the communist doors have been open to tourists, offering more than just bomb craters and war remains. There are many Nam stories, but this one is all mine. Vietnam, here I come! With a population of 77 million, Vietnam is one of the most crowded countries on Earth. It has been occupied by the Chinese and the French, but since the end of the war in 1975, it's been under communist rule, which has served to both preserve its unique cultural identity as well as add an air of mystery to it. My journey starts in the capital, Hanoi, where I hire a motorbike and drive up to the spectacular Ba Bi Lake National Park and attend a spring festival. I then fly south to the city of Dalat, where I take a motorbike trip to explore the war history and tribal people of the Central Highlands. Just 2 years ago, the population of Hanoi ambled about on bicycles. However, as the capital gathers economic momentum, so its citizens move at a faster pace, and now there are an estimated 1 million motorbikes jostling the streets. Hanoi rocks with all of its insane driving, but you know what? I've got to get out of this town before I go crazy or get seriously injured. If you're after an independent adventure, then just $10 a day will get you your own wheels, and nothing beats the freedom of being in control of your own bike. I love the smell of paddy fields in the morning. Vietnam is the third biggest rice producer in the world, and I journey through the Red River Delta, one of the main rice-growing areas. The Vietnamese have traditionally been farmers, and today, 70% of the population still work the land. But this figure is rapidly declining as the young are lured by the money-making prospects of the big cities. I've noticed a lot of tombstones dotted throughout the rice paddies. The Vietnamese worship their ancestors, and they find it comforting to have their spirits around them all day as they work. Hello, ladies. They're getting so excited to see me, and I don't even know them. The smoke. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Hey, maybe this ox knows me. Oh my God, we got a robot around here. I've yet to meet someone who's just ill-willed. It's really bizarre. I keep suspecting somebody's going to be... Hello! But really, they're all looking. It's just, really, it's very pleasant. Very, very nice experience here. And now for some biking tips while riding in Vietnam. Always, how you doing? Always have some goggles on to keep things from flying in your eyes. Have a good hard helmet, keep you safe if you fall. A horn that works, it's actually illegal not to have one here. It's very important in communication. And try to learn how to ride before you get to Vietnam. It's a bit difficult to learn while you're here. I met up with Simon, who was traveling around Asia on his bike. And what would you tell us about biking in Vietnam?
Be cautious.
Blinkers and horns?
Well, they don't use blinkers here.
They do use
but
the horn.
They do use their horn, yeah. Which is good, because it gives you a way of communicating with the people in front of you, who also don't use their mirrors.
And eye contact too, huh?
Yeah, yeah. And go nice and slow into the corners, because you don't know what's around the corner. There's going to be chickens, there's going to be buffaloes, there's going to be cows, there's going to be children. The roads are a public space, you know, where people meet and chat.
Travelling on a motorbike is completely different.
Yeah.
Then you feel very much at one with the environment, and you can smell the difference, you can feel the difference, and you feel like you're part of the scenery rather than watching the scenery.
Well, here we are at the local petrol station. I wonder which one is deluxe unleaded. You guys have a cappuccino machine back there? Maybe? No? Right. Well, this is the end of the road for me. From this point on, to get to the lake, I've got to go by boat. Bobby Lake National Park was established in the 1990s to protect this area of outstanding natural beauty and the endangered tigers, bears, and monkeys that lurk within its tropical forests. Apparently, Bobby Lake is on the other side of this mountain right here. So in order to get to it, we got to go through it. These karst formations are a distinctive feature of northern Vietnam and have been created by the erosion of limestone mountains over many millennia. They are riddled with caves such as this one, Puong Cave, which is nearly 1,000 feet long and navigable for its full length by boat. This is amazing. I mean, we're literally right underneath the mountain. It's as if someone came in, lifted up the mountain, and let us through. Bobby Lake is the largest natural lake in Vietnam and a focal point for the many isolated communities that live in the surrounding mountains. Looks like there's some sort of festivities going on over here on this lake. Better go check it out, if you know what I mean, huh? When in Rome. Spring festivals such as this one are an important event in the rural lunar calendar, and some people have walked for days from remote mountain areas to participate. It is a time for farmers to pray for a good crop, but more importantly, for the young people to find themselves husbands and wives. Men can gain the respect and admiration of women by competing in an assortment of traditional games. So what's going on here?
The aim of the game is to throw the cone, the little ball, through that circle over there. It's a chance for girls and boys to meet and to make couples.
So they might actually win the ladies over, huh?
Yeah. It's a way for men to win the heart of women.
Whoa, very romantic. Eating plays a major part in Vietnamese celebrations, and there were numerous customary delights on offer. What kind of egg?
Duck egg.
I look forward to a duck egg. Oh my God. This is not an egg. This is an actual duck. I don't know if I can do this.
You got to try this with this.
It's like they didn't let it hatch.
And some ginger.
Yeah, load up whatever's gonna cover up the taste. Cause look at this. I want you to see what I'm doing. This is not a normal, ordinary egg. You see the feather-like substance going on? But there's the head. There's the head. The head with the beak. Okay. That looks yummy. Can't even think straight.
I'm beside myself.
It's very bitter. Indescribable. I can't swallow it. I'm gonna let you finish this. Here's the head, folks.
You see it? Okay. Have that.
Wait, show the camera how you're chewing it. And is it good?
It's really nice.
It's really good. Is it more manly to eat this? Is that why you like it? Or do you actually like it?
You need to show women that you are
Okay.
brave.
That makes sense to me. I appreciate that.
A man needs to be brave.
Whew. It's tough to be a man here, I think. But if I was a girl, I'd like you. You impressed me. That's.
You want to have another one?
No, yes. Maybe for dessert.
One of the most popular challenges at the festival is catching a goat whilst blindfolded, although how this prepares you for married life is unclear. This was my final chance to impress the ladies.
All right.
Catching that goat really did the trick.
Right, ladies?
I fly south from Hanoi to Dalat, where I take another bike journey through the war-torn Central Highlands to the Manong village of Bandon. The city of Dalat is situated on a plateau in the Central Highlands at an altitude of 5,000 feet and is surrounded by volcanic peaks. During colonial times, the French developed it as a hill station, a place where hot and flustered expats could escape the stifling lowland heat of Saigon. This temperate climate and rich volcanic soil have turned the surrounding land into the country's richest vegetable patch, and nowhere is this more apparent than in the market. One of the many strange fruits on offer is betel nut, which is chewed profusely by old people as they claim it is good for their teeth.
For your teeth? Did I just eat the whole thing? Nah, you don't need it. But I can feel some sort of tingling sensation going on. Now my whole body's pulsating. My whole head is throbbing. Ooh, I feel it in my arms. You feel it in your leg? Yeah, I'm starting to. I don't think it's just for your teeth.
I suddenly understood why the old people's teeth were so bad, and yet they were so happy.
Oh, yeah. Maybe this isn't for your teeth at all. It's just for drugs.
I could have got high with the old dame all day, but it was time to head out on the highway.
When traveling through the Central Highlands, it's a good idea to hire a guide. A lot of these areas are off limits to tourists. This is my guide, Mr. An.
The man who can. Let's go.
The Central Highlands were the scene of some of the bloodiest battles in the Vietnam War. Most of the local motorbike guides in Dalat are ex-soldiers and can really bring this history to life. Mr. An fought for the South Vietnamese Army alongside the Americans, which may account for his unusual grasp of the English language.
Are you okie dokie?
I am okie dokie.
If you're okie dokie, everything is hunky dory.
Yeah, everything is hunky dory.
We have the top banana tour.
Top banana tour?
Yeah. Also, spot on tour. Oh, we have the dog ball leg tour.
Oh, what?
The dog ball leg tour.
Dog ball leg?
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
You don't know the dog ball leg?
No.
The dog ball leg means it's super duper.
It's super duper?
Yeah.
At the height of the war, 1.2 million bombs were dropped every year, and 8,500 square miles of forest were destroyed by defoliants. Although the war ended in 1975, the scars from this fighting will remain for many years.
The jungle got destroyed by the Agent Orange from American Army.
Agent Orange?
Yeah.
So the Agent Orange wiped out this entire forest here. Is that because the guerrillas were hiding in the forest?
Yeah, the gorilla live in the forest. So now you see here, no tree.
In 1972, Vietnamese guerrillas took refuge in this church during an air raid. The Americans shot at it, and then eventually fired a rocket inside, destroying everything in its wake. There were no survivors.
Do you feel sad coming in here?
No.
No?
No.
You lying to me?
No.
I feel sad coming in here.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Because, right now in Vietnam, we have, for the war, we forget everything.
How do you forget about it?
Because, during the war, I've been to, so many times I've been to the fighting, the martial fighting, so now I know so many of my friends, so many of the people, they got died by the fighting, so, with me, after the revolution, I forget everything. I don't remember everything. How about the Vietnamese war in the past? Only in my head.
Only in your head?
Yeah, in my heart.
In your heart, you still remember?
Yeah.
During the 10 years of conflict, 3.5 million Vietnamese were killed, of which 2 million were merely civilians. Every family was affected. The Central Highlands are home to 35 different minority groups, descendants of the Aboriginal Indo-Chinese people. They are commonly known as Montagnards, or mountain people. The Vietnamese call them Moi, which means savage. They refer to themselves as Diga, meaning first people. Bandon village is home to the Manong ethnic group, who have been famous for centuries for their skill at hunting and then taming wild elephants, which are put to work in the forest. Mr. An offered to take me to visit the local legend, Makung, the greatest living elephant catcher, who was busy preparing a lizard for his lunch.
He obviously knows how to handle his animals, huh?
Yeah.
And so this is the last living elephant king.
King.
And can you ask him how many he's caught?
Ông giết được bao nhiêu con voi? Ông săn được bao nhiêu con voi?
Săn là 298 con.
I think about 298.
298. Wow. And he's got a huge family, from what I understand. How old is he?
Now he 87 years.
87. Wow. How many wives does he have?
He got 4.
4 wives. How many children?
21 children altogether.
21 children. How many grandchildren?
He got about 91 altogether.
So the legend is true.
Yeah.
He's a living village. He's obviously very strong. And, you said he gets this from the root juice?
Yes, before he can, after he killed the lizard, and then he
took some of the blood,
and then he mix together with the wine. Wine like this.
And that wine is made up of what?
With the medicine.
Medicine. This makes him strong?
Strong from the lady.
For the ladies, okay.
So now he got the 4 wives.
Yeah, well, he might have some more kids after this, huh?
Maybe. If you don't need one tonight, you must looking for the foxy lady.
The foxy lady. All right, well, here goes nothing.
How about that?
It just tastes like wine, like vodka almost. Do I feel more sexy? You betcha, baby.
The next day, Makung took me on a trek into the forest to learn more about the relationship between the Manong and their elephants. In colonial times, the French abused their elephant trapping skills, forcing the Manong to hunt elephants for ivory. Today, there are fewer than 100 elephants left in the wild in Vietnam, and conservationists fear that by 2020, they will be extinct.
This is a little different than I was thinking it was going to be. Got to hold on tight and expect a bumpy ride. But it's also very fun. I like being so high up. It gives a new perspective. It's also very peaceful.
Each mahout will work exclusively with his elephant for up to 40 years. There are dozens of commands that can be understood, everything from hurry up to destroy.
There's a couple of elephants that were trampling through a village, killed 2 people. So they've been brought to Makung. Actually, we're going to go meet them.
These rogue elephants are seriously dangerous. Makung is considered to be the only man brave enough and with enough knowledge of these huge beasts to attempt to turn a wild killer into a domesticated animal. The alternative, of course, would be to shoot them. The taming process consists of many rituals.
Apparently in this ceremony, chicken is sacrificed for each elephant because they're baby elephants. If they were bigger, they'd have pigs or buffaloes sacrificed. But it's to ask the gods to keep the baby elephants strong and healthy, and also to ask that they work well with the humans that raise them. It's like one of those things you don't like to see being done, but if it's going to be done, you want to see it.
It will take around 5 years of training before these elephants have learned to obey their master and can be sent to work.
It's been a long, hot journey, and I completely understand why the elephants like to finish the day with a dip in the lake.
There is an unbreakable bond of genuine respect and friendship between an elephant and his mahout. The evening bath is crucial to maintaining this close tie and is enjoyed equally by both. Cigarettes are optional.
I've had an amazing time here in Vietnam. And although this is a country racing towards the 21st century, you can still get a bike, drive off somewhere, find yourself in a place that hasn't been changed for centuries. Where the presenter swims off into the sunset.